except where them hands, where them holes, where them throws, you know what I'm saying?
Please do not try these movements out. If you are a student of mine, do not do these in class. Even though I may discuss them, don't do this in class. I normally don't tell everyone this, but today I feel like being generous. So I'm going to say something that if you have a closed mind, you're probably not going to understand. So I don't feel like there's any danger in saying this. If you want to, well, one way, this is just one way to find out what the applications are for the movements that you do in forms. One way is to watch accidents. See what happens when they tell you not to do something a certain way to injure someone. That is a way you would do it for combat and for real self-defense, as in you think the person is going to try to seriously injure you or, take your life or take the life of someone else. That is the only time you use applications like these. Now, these applications, when you find applications like this, they do take some skill because you're going to have to know what I'm talking about, or you're going to have to know the movement in a particular pattern to be able to see it. You're not going to see it or associate these moves with any of the patterns that you're learning as a martial artist if you're not practicing your patterns. If you haven't spent a significant amount of time practicing your patterns, I really can't bare minimum it for you, but I think it's longer than a year. You're not going to see these things. Your brain is just not going to pick it up. These things, yes, a teacher could teach you, but I think it's best if you discover them for yourself. So this secret is something that the internet's not going to like. Because this secret means you practice your forms and 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 you practice your forms. You practice your forms and you practice your forms and you practice your forms and you practice your forms. You practice, 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 practice till they get buried into the subconscious mind. And then you practice some more. Then you might stop practicing them for a while and then you got to come back and practice them again. But eventually, I guess you could say it's because of cognitive bias, if you want to have a Western term for it. If you don't know what cognitive bias is when you're expecting to see something, you start seeing it. Okay, you'll see a movement or you'll see something, and you go, "Wait a minute, that reminds me of XYZ pattern." Is it? At first, you'll doubt yourself, but after a while, you'll see it. Now, that being said, in my opinion, and this is not the only way to look at this, one application for what they call mountain blocks to either crescent kick or mountain blocks to stomp, or just they call it just mountain block or twin mountain block. In the Taekwondo, Cecil Ryu Taekwondo, Cecil Ryu form called Toi Gye, General Choi origin. This. Because other martial arts have this too, where they move laterally and they're like this. Instead of thinking of it as just standing up, you can think of it as you're doing this move on the ground, or you go from standing to on the ground. Because after a while, when you do this, usually that move is followed up after you do a sequence of movements by an indication of a down technique, an indication of hitting down to the ground and then coming out here. If you think of that as the person, you are sideways to the person here. So their head, this is them. Their head is like this. This is the head. And you are here like this to their head, or you're like this to their head. You'll see what I'm talking about. There's even one application or slam where you would be like this, but still, you're here. And because after a while you come down to the ground, I think it's slamming. In addition to, I also think that it's Yoko Shiogatami for judo, or what they call side control in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, rolling someone over your shoulder in what they call kataguruma or shoulder wheel. I think it's that, in addition to just blocking and hitting. And I got a video on here too where I say I saw a tiger do this too. It went in a circle around the animal it was fighting. So take a look at this. You'll see some footage of me doing the form, just the moves from the form, and then after that, you'll see some. You'll see some combat sports stuff from some other grappling styles. My grappling background is judo, but you'll see this where they're doing the slam, and they've got to position their body like this. Check it out.
Right, left, left, right, left, left. So, just practice.
Isabela, respira, respira Isa, respira.
Looking for a buggy choke. This is a choke from. Beautiful. There was pressure on that choke.
And now there's pressure on the face of Simons. Ground and pound. Hogan making Simons a bloody mess.
Beautiful positioning right there. Simons is in real trouble here.
Archie.
Looking for a buggy choke. This is a choke from.
So pay attention to accidents and what are called illegal techniques in your martial arts training. This isn't even my original idea. Somebody told me this years ago. It told me this when I was a child, and it took me until I was an adult to actually be able to see it. And those look really brutal. I don't see why you should do that to anyone in a competition. And, just a little bit of a martial arts history lesson. In judo, they have a technique that is called Dai Kiyagi, which is basically slam. And I wasn't around then. I was told that once upon a time in judo, if you picked the person up off the ground, you didn't have to slam them. It was an ippon because it was assumed that if you could pick them up like that, you could slam them down. So if that's already been established in combat sport, why don't we know that now? If you don't now, you do. So in terms of combat sports, I think we should ban the slam. But while it's here and people are doing it and they're not realizing just how bad it is, by watching it. And this is where it pays to look at other styles other than what your style is. This is why your style should be the martial arts. Even if your technique base is, a form of Taekwondo or a form of judo or a form of karate or of kung fu or of Western boxing, even if that's your quote unquote base, you should have an open mind so that you can see the stuff that's going on right around you with full evidence of it working. And like I said, I saw the connection because I practice my forms a lot. Not as much as I should, though, but I practice them enough so that I can demonstrate them. Thanks for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and share it to people like to talk about the martial arts in peace. And as always, thank you for your time, people. I appreciate it. And if you have rap fatigue, check out Cecil Ryu Hip Hop. That's my music channel. Peace.